fire outbreak that took place in Namuongo that you were looking at closely.
Yes, that is at the Chiboko Enterprises warehouse. Now, one of the things that has been disturbing me is how Ugandans would not prioritize insurance, despite having had a number of fires or fire outbreaks, would not prioritize insurance. Now, most of these businesses, when fire strikes, they never recover. That is the biggest challenge. That when fire strikes, they never recover, or if they do, it's a journey aimed at climbing a mountain. It's so very hard to recover. Yet if your business is insured, now I want to call upon Ugandans to ensure that we insure our businesses. The number of insurance packages that are out there, find what suits your business at that particular time, but insure your business. Then second, issues of fire prevention. I've also come to understand that many people, when constructing their buildings, they have nothing factoring in fire prevention. Issues like fire extinguishers, when you talk about water hydrants, can you believe even fire assembly points? You know, Julie, it's very important for every building, for every organization, that your people know what we call a fire assembly point. That in case of a fire, we don't just run anywhere. We run at one point where the counting can be done, where they can know so and so is still in the building or not. But also one thing that I find in many places, the fire exits are locked thorough.
Always locked.
Always locked. You know, and you ask yourself now, in case of a fire, this is the other way around, where we can pass. But unfortunately, they are locked and they can't be of any use. So there's so much that I want to urge Ugandans to focus on when it comes to fighting fires in the country.
Yes, indeed. And some of the updates we have in some other stories, Judiciary has mourned the fallen Dr. Professor, Right Justice George Wilson Kanyi by holding a special court Supreme Court session. And at the session held at the Judiciary headquarters in Kampala, Judiciary eulogized the deceased for the tremendous work and service towards the judiciary during the tenure as a judicial officer and to the country in upholding the rule of law. The special session was held by Chief Justice Alphonse Owiny-Doro together with the other justices of the Supreme Court. And at 2:30 p.m., the body of the late Justice George Wilson Kanyei was already at the Judiciary headquarters to be accorded a special court session with a panel of justices of the Supreme Court led by the Chief Justice Alphonse Owiny-Doro, and the lead bar was led by the Attorney General Chidiowa Chiwanuka. The Chief Justice Alphonse Owiny-Doro spoke about a man of substance and applauded his landmark decisions during his tenure as a judiciary officer, and this has upheld the good image of the judiciary. And the Deputy Chief Justice Dr. Flavian Zeija described the late as a person who emphasized the importance of upholding human rights in the country through his decisions, and he was as a jurist. Susan Kanyei talked about the husband as a person who left a legacy for young lawyers and thanked the judiciary for a special recognition of her husband. And looking at the other update we have at our desk, the Lord Mayor of Kampala, Erias Lukwago, has told Parliament that his office has not received the Auditor General's report for last year as required by the law. Now, Lukwago and KCCA, his team, had appeared before the Parliamentary Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises to respond to the queries in the Auditor General's Report 2024. The MPs accepted to give the Office of the Lord Mayor time to acquaint himself with enough response on the reports. KCCA leadership has over time been divided over the legal framework governing the Office of the Lord Mayor and the Executive Director. Now, Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago has resurrected the hide-and-seek game in the operations of the Kampala City Authority. Parliament is scrutinizing the Auditor General's report for 2024, but Lord Mayor Lukwago, who was invited together with the KCCA team, denied privy. Lukwago reminded the MPs sitting on the Parliamentary Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises, chaired by Vice Alan Sebunya, that the legal procedures were not followed after he only received the report a few days ago. The MPs questioned the motive. In presence were also top leaders of the KCCA. The MPs agreed to allocate more time, that the office of the Lord Mayor is not left out in the response to the Auditor General's report. According to Lukwago, the report is sensitive, including matters of Chitezi land compensation, among others. Now, with that update, Robert, give us what is on the local scene today.
Well, we begin with President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who joined Ugandans and the rest of the world in condoling with the family of the late George Kanyei, who passed on last week. Museveni described the fallen judge as a man of value who believed in politics of interest as opposed to identity. This was at his residence in Buziga, a suburb of Kampala, where President pledged to support the family. Seen arriving at his residence was Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda and the Right Honorable Amama Mbabazi. Along with the family, they were joined by the President to mourn the foreign retired judge. This is all in memory of Justice Kanyei, as attested by the Right Honorable Amama Mbabazi. Museveni, who was there to condole with the family, could not forget the role the deceased played in fighting politics of identity. This to him makes the value of the deceased more than just a memory, which is why he could not hold back his esteem for the deceased. Justice George Kanyei, a former Supreme Court judge, passed away on the 14th of July 2025 after a long battle with what is believed to be prostate cancer. Tempers flared at the NRM party headquarters as Remy Yaga, Member of Parliament Theodore Sechikubo, confronted members of the NRM Electoral Commission over last week's national-wide primary election results. In a heated verbal exchange, Sechikubo directly accused Ambassador James William Chinobe, a commissioner on the party's electoral body, of failing to uphold transparency and credibility in the electoral process. In response, the NRM Electoral Commission chairperson Tango Doi told Sechikubo to follow the appropriate channels, urging him to file his grievances through the established legal procedure. Despite the establishment of a tribunal to handle complaints from the nationwide NRM party primaries, flares and tension within the party deepened as Remy Yaga, incumbent Member of Parliament Theodore Sechikubo, clashed with members of the Commission. The confrontation followed the Commission's declaration of retired Brigadier General Emmanuel Rashande as the winner of the NRM primaries for Remy Yaga constituency. The development was met with strong resistance from Sechikubo, who formerly visited Chadondo to lodge a complaint citing widespread irregularities. In a tense exchange, Sechikubo openly criticized Commissioner Ambassador James William Chinobe, accusing him of failing to ensure a free and fair process. Now, today they are holding yet another set of primaries. That is for mayoral and local council 5. We hope the story will be different because, of course, there are some not very good stories coming in for Njinja, where a team of one attacked the other. Cars were burnt, tukutukus, tricycles were burnt. People are announcing serious injuries. So we pray and hope that we are going to see something better today.
Indeed, we pray and hope. And on that note, let's fly to the global scene. And starting with Gaza, at least 10 more Palestinians have starved to death in the besieged Gaza Strip, health officials say, as a wave of hunger crashes over the enclave. The latest starvation deaths bring the death toll from malnutrition since Israel's war began in October 2023 to 111, most of them in recent weeks. At least 100 other Palestinians, including 34 aid seekers, were killed in Israeli attacks over the past 24 hours. Gaza's Ministry of Health said on Wednesday. The World Health Organization said that 21 children under the age of 5 were among those who died of malnutrition so far this year. It said that it had been unable to deliver any food for nearly 80 days between March and May, and that a resumption of food deliveries was still far below what is needed. In a statement, 111 organizations, including Mercy Corps, the Norwegian Refugee Council and Refugees International, said that mass starvation was spreading even as tons of food, clean water and medical supplies sit untouched just outside Gaza, where aid groups are blocked from accessing them. Now, moving on, when Attorney General Pam Bondi briefed President Donald Trump in May on the Justice Department's review of the documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein case, she told him that his name appeared in the files. Sources familiar with the discussion told CNN. The conversation, which also included Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, was characterized by two White House officials as a routine briefing that covered the scope of the Justice Department's findings. Trump's name appearing in the files, they said, was not the sole focus of the discussions. Bondi also raised in the meeting that several names of high-profile figures were also mentioned, and that investigators did not find evidence of a so-called client list or evidence refuting that Epstein died by suicide, the officials said. The sources familiar with the department's review said the files appeared to include several unsubstantiated claims that the Justice Department found not to be credible, including those relating to President Trump. And coming to the motherland, the government has revealed details of its plans to cut foreign aid with support for children's education and women's health in Africa facing the biggest reduction. Which government are we talking about? That is the UK. The government said in February it would slash foreign aid spending by 40% from 0.5% of gross national income to 0.3% to increase defense spending to 2.5% after pressure from the US. A Foreign Office report and impact assessment show the biggest cuts this year will come in Africa, with less spent on women's health and water sanitation, with increased risks, it says, of disease and death. Aid charities have criticized the move, saying the cuts would impact the world's most vulnerable people. But the government said spending on multilateral aid bodies, money given to international organizations like the World Bank, would be protected, including the Gavi Vaccine Alliance, and it said the UK would also continue to play a key humanitarian role in hotspots such as Gaza, Ukraine, and Sudan. Baroness Chapman, Minister of Development, said every pound must work harder for UK taxpayers and the people we help around the world, and these figures show how we are starting to do just that through having a clear focus and priorities. Now, where does that leave Africa? We wait. I hope we are able to get on our feet without necessarily having to depend on a lot of foreign aid. We really do hope. But let's have a look at what is in the dailies.
Well, in the New Vision this morning, we have NRM issues tough rules for LC5 polls. Now, those are kicking on today. All is set as party members vote LC5, mayors, district, and city councillors. That is today for NRM primaries. Now, 4 arrested in butchered 17 billion scam. These, the 4 that is up the New Vision. Those 4 had planned to work on an investor. But the State House Anti-Corruption Unit came in and saved the day. Now we have Museveni to clear Kanyei Hamba's hospital bill. There is a picture there of His Excellency speaking to members of the late judge's family. And police gun sighted in foiled Chotera robbery. Moving on, still in the New Vision, NGO boss murder suspects charged. And ask URA, well, the Commissioner General is there, and what questions do you have for him? That is in the Vision. Now, I quickly go to the Daily Monitor this morning. Up NRM tightens grip on local council polls. And still in the Daily Monitor, we have Nabanja slapped in NRM polls fight. Well, only when you get the Monitor that you'll have the clearance of that. And also why Uganda teachers in Burundi were sent back home. And still the Daily Monitor, love dared me to change. What changes that? And the judiciary pays tribute to Justice Kanyei Hamba. Now, my friend the lizard is here. Why Ugandan teachers in Burundi were sent home. He says old dogs failed to learn new tricks.
Oh, wow.
While Julie, fly us to Kenya and Tanzania.
Well, starting from Tanzania, revealed leading financial crimes and their solutions. Right, that's a headline in The Citizen. And in The Citizen, steel partners exit won't affect Kabanga nickel project. Also, Tanzania lists key successes as SADC Troika chair, Lake Energies to supply CNG for BRT Phase 2 operations. And inside East Africa's multi-sectoral push towards a cashless future. Also, football, no let-up in young Africans' pre-season signing blitz. Looking now at the Daily Nation, Raila puppet or DM rebel. That is that headline in the Daily Nation. Intrigue, ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna has constantly dismissed his party's association with the government, contradicting his boss Raila Odinga. Now he has declared the ODM UDA deal dead, days after Mr. Odinga affirmed it. Is he a rogue official or the mouthpiece of his party leader? Also there, why MPs probe into organs trade stalled, and puzzle over woman strangled to death in hospital. Also, SHA latest crisis hurts patients. All of that in the Daily Nation, and all you need to do is to grab yourself any of the copies of your choice to see what is in the detail of each paper. For now, that's all we have from the dailies and the news roundup. Let's have a short break as we enjoy some music. Winner from Gravity. Good morning, Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, dondolo.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks, Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
My friend, when the SOAS started, I went to 3 different local clinics. Can you imagine I spent money on creams, pills, even injections? Nothing worked. I didn't know it was Mpox. By the time I tested for Mpox, I had almost spent all my savings. How I wish I had gone straight for the Mpox test. I could have saved that money and time and started healing sooner.
That's true. When you notice a rash of fever, go to the nearest health facility immediately for checkup. It saves time and money.
Yes.
For more information about Mpox, call a Ministry of Health toll-free line on 0800 1066 or send a free SMS to YouReport on 8500. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health Uganda with support from UNICEF, WHO and its partners.
Hello, Kampala, Uganda. In response to the national call of strengthening the traffic security, Good Products Group HGO brand has officially launched the Rider Selection Campaign. Registration is now open. Visit www.riders.hgo.com. Complete your registration now for a chance to win exciting prizes including motorcycles, exclusive HGO gift boxes, and official rider vests, all while promoting safe riding awareness. This is how to participate. Pay the registration fee, invite 3 friends to form a team of 4, and your registration fee will instantly be refunded. Begin your journey of honor today. Don't miss this opportunity. Join the challenge, promote road safety, and become a pioneer rider. For details, visit the official Good Products website at www.hgo.com or call toll-free 0800-335-555 or visit our offices at Kingdom Kampala 3rd floor to register now and win prizes worth millions.
Uniquely ours. Explore Uganda.
Taxation is a bit complicated, and the only way to demystify it and make it as easy to understand and to comply with is through engagement. Is there a limit to the number of cars a returning citizen is bringing into Uganda? Who has paid the excise duty on this water is not the supermarket which has sold you this bottle at 1,000. It's not the business. It is the man who is going to drink this water. We strongly believe that it will only be through such constructive engagement that we'll be able to broaden our tax base and build our country together.
Buza Commissioner. Now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. It's a beautiful Wednesday to have conversations on the cooperative movement of Uganda. And as always, we have, of course, the usual suspect in studio. But today in particular, we are looking at affordable and accessible finance through the cooperative bank. And in studio with me, I'll start with the one who's news about the cooperative bank, which is an achievement, if you ask me, for the cooperative movement in Uganda. Save the number like I shared earlier, 0709602592. It's a WhatsApp number, only able to text it, not call it. And when you text, we are able to see your comment, your question, your opinion on the matter, the topic that we are going to talk about. And please send it for as long as we are on the screen and within the window that we have. So that
on 8500. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health Uganda
with support from UNICEF, WHO,
and its partners.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Thank you so much for choosing UBC TV. If you've been with us since the start, thank you so much for being on the show and for watching UBC. If you've just joined in, you're welcome. This is Good Morning Uganda. My name is Julie Nantaba Mosisi. And time for the real, where we get to engage in a discussion, sometimes just to share our 2 cents and sometimes with an expert. Now, this time around, we are looking at the 4th National Public Relations Symposium to be held on the 25th of July, 2025 at the Imperial Royal Hotel. And we have a representative from the Public Relations Association of Uganda to speak into this matter and tell us more about this symposium. Ronald Benomjisha, who is the Public Relations Association of Uganda Vice President. Good morning, Ronald.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
And thank you so much for having me, and good morning, Uganda.
All right. Tell us about the Public Relations Association of Uganda.
Thank you so much. Formed in 1976, the Public Relations Association of Uganda is an umbrella that represents both the private and public communicators or communication specialists, brand managers, and many others from this country and across. And we have been here for the last, next year we make 50 years. And so our core value or our core goal is to bring the communicators, the public relations specialists together as an association to foster, one, professionalism, and then the networking, and then the professional development.
Right.
Yes.
Now, we are indeed focusing on the 4th National Public Relations Symposium. And I think I would also want to know a bit of the background. What prompted the beginning of these symposiums up to the 4th?
Thank you so much. Like I mentioned, us being an umbrella as an association that brings professionals together, mostly in the industry of public relations and communication, to start such engagements at a national level, we looked at many things to close the gap. To close the gap. Then professional development. If you're doing it alone in office, you might think you're doing it well. But where we converge as communicators in this country and we speak realities,
right.
We learn from each other. We speak to different topics. We address different challenges. We look at case studies. We invite in experts. We speak with the government. It makes a difference. So by the time you go back to your office to practice, you have a different way of looking at things. So
right.
that really inspired
right.
the starting of these events.
Makes a lot of sense. Now, to be a part of the conversation, especially if you love, passionate about communications and PR, this is your conversation, 0709602592. It's a WhatsApp number to which you can send a WhatsApp message, not a WhatsApp call, but a message, and we'll be able to engage. Now, this year's theme is strategy to C-suite.
Yes.
Why the theme, and what really inspired this theme from strategy to C-suite?
Yes, thank you so much. From strategy to the C-suite, we're looking at really elevating PR to the boardroom.
Right.
And we are saying we've been behind working on many things, crisis management, communication policies, drafting speeches. But we are saying where the country has reached or where we are going as a world, we need to have communicators in the boardroom where decisions are made. Decisions are made from the boardroom, but then in case of anything, that's when the PR person is invited to manage crisis.
Who was not yet.
Who was not
yes.
part of the conversation.
Right.
But we are saying if the peer specialists, the communicators are part of these conversations from the boardroom where important decisions are made, then it is easy for them to communicate the right communication, to be sure and plan ahead of time. But not only that, we are also saying we can be better CEOs, better MDs. So we are saying let's inspire our communicators of this country to also aim higher to a level of managing institutions, organizations, because we really have what it takes. And so it's not just about, this year is not just about a symposium. It's an event, it's a day that is going to cause a movement and transformation in this country's communication industry.
That's a very profound assurance.
Yes.
And that would push me to ask what you hope to achieve in this
Yes.
year's symposium. What are the objectives?
Yeah, and number one of the objectives, we want to inspire the specialists, the communication specialists of this country that yes, we can get to the boardroom. Secondly, we want to share skills, to give skills to our members, to the people that will attend, the participants. We want to share success stories. We have peer specialists, communicators in this country that have made it to the levels, or at the level of a CEO, CEOs. We have some of them. And tomorrow we are going to have a good panel for them to really share insights on how they've really been able to make it. And so, and also networking. And then, of course, we will be speaking to our regulators, we will be speaking to the government. We have representatives from different institutions, and whatever that's going to be discussed, we will form a new discussion in these boardrooms where we don't sit, but where we aspire to sit. And so by the end of tomorrow, we will have completely a different discussion. And I think even starting tomorrow, when organizations start to structure the organization structures and whatever of the organizations, they are going to think pulling the PROs, communicators, from behind door to nearby so that they can be part of these important decisions. If you've looked at crisis, and for Uganda, it's becoming very tough. How miscommunication, everyone is communicating, everyone is posting here and there, and no one is in charge.
Yeah.
It looks as if no one is in charge. But we're saying, why? Why? The people who are the architects of communication have been put aside. They are, so by the way, what you don't know,
yes,
and what we don't know as a country, some of the communication specialists, PR specialists, don't even sit in communication offices. They become PAs to some people, they sit somewhere, not until a crisis hits an organization. So tomorrow for me is a big day.
Surely,
for this
indeed.
country.
It really does sound a very big day. Who is invited?
Yeah, who is invited? We are inviting everyone in this country to be a part of this revolution. We are saying there's a fee to pay.
Yes.
If you are a member of PROW, you pay 200,000. It's small contribution. If you are a non-member, you pay 250. And the students in the institutions, we are inviting them to just pay a contribution of 70,000. And we are saying, for me, in fact, as I think I could be the youngest ever vice president of PROW, I want to invite the young people to come tomorrow, and we learn from our elders. How are they doing it? As they enter into boardrooms, our generation, it's our generation now. The eyes now will be focused to these people who are in the institutions. As they leave universities, they should have prepared, not to just think of social media management, writing speeches, but as they finish their final year, at the institution, at the university level, they are already seeing a difference. they are putting into perspective that we're not only going to sit and plan strategy and the branding, whatever. We are focusing to higher levels.
Right.
And that's changed the whole mindset of these students. And then, of course, the corporate table of 10 goes to 5 million.
Right.
But we are giving invitation to everyone.
Right.
If you really want to attend, you can visit our website. We are all over. We are all over. Since last week, we've had a press conference. We've been really inviting people.
Right.
So if you just Google in your browser Public Relations Association of Uganda, you will see a lot. You'll get how to participate. You'll get how to really be part of tomorrow's event.
Right. We are having this conversation on PR, but somebody who's watching and they've just landed on this might be wondering what exactly is PR. Sometimes we throw this word around like it's a title, a fancy title, but a viewer out there might want to know what is the detail about it. Why is it so important? Is it just a title to throw around and to pose with? Or there's a weight that comes with the title PR as we look forward to celebrating the 4th symposium? Do help elaborate and expound on what a PR means.
All right. Thank you so much. That's a good question. And in fact, in this country, if you ask many people, they will tell you, we know PR, we know spokespersons, we know communicators, but we really don't understand what do they exactly do. In its simplicity, public relations is like a bridge. It's a bridge that establishes a relationship, mutual relationships. It establishes and sustains relationships. That includes stakeholder management. It includes the managing of the publics, managing the media. So we're looking at establishing relationships and maintaining them. And if you look at only those two words, establishing and maintaining, it speaks to you that the public relations specialist at your office, if you have one, does a big job. Because as an organization, you work with different people. You want to meet different people. You have different stakeholders. But who keeps them engaged? Who brings them? Who looks over them? Who establishes the communication channels? And then, important bit, in case you must speak, who creates communication, the speech, that information you want to, to dispatch, to disseminate? Who does the writing? Who looks into it? Because the profession itself trains people to know what to communicate when and how. So it's quite a big industry that has a little bit been underlooked, but we appreciate the government because it at least provided a framework for all organizations to have a PR department. And so what we're going to be doing tomorrow and as an association of PLAU is to ensure that we create also awareness, again, to remind people that, look, this is a very important field and industry for this country.
Right. So tomorrow it's happening. Is it a one-day event?
It's a one-day event.
Yes. From what time?
Gates open at 8
a.m.
Yes, 8 a.m. We'll be starting up to late.
Right.
Up to late. We even have after party if you choose to. If you choose to call it.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting. Good morning, Uganda. We are having a conversation on public relations, but in particular, we are focusing on the 4th symposium, 4th National Public Relations Symposium to be held tomorrow on the 25th of July, 2025. It will be at the Imperial Royal Hotel. I love everything communication and PR. So if you are like me, this should tickle you pink and should nudge you at the same time to be a part of an event such as this. Now, I will ask for who those people are that you're partnering with to work to bring this together.
Oh yes. Thank you so much. Important to mention.
Yes.
Our chief guest, the 4th National Public Relations Symposium will be graced by the Speaker of Parliament.
Oh, great.
So we expect tomorrow to have a sitting. It could be the public relations sitting chaired by
the Speaker
the
of
Right
Parliament.
Honourable Speaker of Parliament.
Yes.
And we of course, we know that patron will be also coming along.
Yes.
The Honourable Dr. Chris Badiomus, the Minister for ICT, and of course other people, other big dignitaries will be coming through. And we are partnering with many people. Number one, let me appreciate UBC. UBC is our partner, and we want to appreciate UBC for an opportunity. We are partnering with capital markets. They have done a good job. Deposit Protection Fund, they have done a big job. We have many organizations that have really supported us. We have Bank of Uganda, Uganda Civil Aviation. We have KCCA. We have Capital FM. We have the CEO Magazine. We have Galaxy FM. We have quite so many. National Water. We have Microfinance Support Fund. There are quite so many. Right. We really want to appreciate all our partners, all our sponsors. And if you visit our social media platforms, you'll see all our partners. But we will appreciate them better tomorrow and speak about them because they have really done a good job. We have also many other radios that have really come on board. Almost all media houses, most of them, have come on board. And then we have members from all organizations in this country.
Right.
Uganda Revenue Authority, the Parliament of Uganda, like everyone is sending in, at least if they are not coming as a company, they are sending in communication, public relations specialists. They are sending in people who have done PR or are doing PR in their organizations.
Right.
So for us, from the Governing Council of PLAW, we really appreciate.
All right. Thank you very much, Ronald Binomjisha. Any parting shots?
The very last one, we really, to me, tomorrow is a day to commission the public relations industry to a higher level. From where it has just been, from where people used to know it or to look at it, to quite a higher level. So tomorrow is a commissioning day to see a new movement in the industry of communication.
Right. Thank you so much for coming through, and definitely you should look forward to the 4th National Public Relations Symposium to be held tomorrow at the Imperial Royal Hotel. And the theme is going to be from strategy to C-suite. Make sure that you be a part of it. Please state the prices again, just to emphasize this point as to how one is able to be a part of the event.
For you to be part of tomorrow's event, the Public Relations Association of Uganda members, you pay 200,000. The non-members, you pay 250,000. The students, you pay only 70,000, and we have a corporate table that goes up to 5 million.
Right. Now, Omugaga Saurembo from Nabweru he has a question that, let me first read it as he has written it in Luganda. Mbuza lwaki e Nabweru musobola okubateerawo emmotoka ezibaleeta Munyonyo. Simply translated as, is it possible to have transport to bring those from Nabweru to transport them to the venue for the symposium? I don't know what you would tell him as a PR expert on this one.
I don't want to promise that there will be transport arrangements.
Right.
But please find out our numbers on our website, and please get in touch. We can find a way that you can make it to the venue.
All right. Thank you so much, Ronald, for coming through. Indeed, please make it to the symposium tomorrow. It's the 4th National Public Relations Symposium. It's tomorrow, 25th July. It's a Friday. Yeah, that's plot for you, but one that adds value to you at the same time. For now, let's have a short break. Good Morning Uganda Tourism Express will be coming through. And Good Morning Uganda does continue. Stay tuned.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Hello, Kampala, Uganda. In response to the national call of strengthening the traffic security, Good Products Group HGO brand has officially launched the rider selection campaign. Registration is now open. Visit www.riders.hgo.com. Complete your registration now for a chance to win exciting prizes including motorcycles, exclusive HGO gift boxes, and official rider vests, all while promoting safe riding awareness. This is how to participate. Pay the registration fee, invite 3 friends to form a team of 4, and your registration fee will instantly be refunded. Begin your journey of honor today. Don't miss this opportunity. Join the challenge, promote road safety, and become a pioneer rider. For details, visit the official Good Products website at www.hgo.com or call toll-free 0800-335-555 or visit our offices at Kingdom Kampala 3rd floor to register now and win prizes worth millions.
Uniquely ours. Explore Uganda.
My friend, when the SOAS started, I went to 3 different local clinics. Can you imagine I spent money on creams, pills, even injections? Nothing worked. I didn't know it was Mpox. By the time I tested for Mpox, I had almost spent all my savings. How I wish I had gone straight for the Mpox test. I could have saved that money and time and started healing sooner.
That's true. When you notice a rash of fever, go to the nearest health facility immediately for checkup. It saves time and money.
Yes.
For more information
about Mpox,
call the Ministry of Health toll-free line on 0800 1066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health Uganda
with support from UNICEF, WHO,
and its partners.
Taxation is a bit complicated, and the only way to demystify it and make it as easy to understand and to comply with is through engagement. Is there a limit to the number of cars a returning citizen is bringing into Uganda? Who has paid the excise duty on this water is not the supermarket which has sold you this bottle at 1,000. It's not the business. It is the man who is going to drink this water. We strongly believe that it will only be through such constructive engagement that we'll be able to broaden our tax base and build our country together.
Buza Commissioner. Now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
Juko. Yo. What you go? Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, They've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Up, richer and thankful, Lord, I woke up on the good side of the bed. I am just in the middle of the most beautiful things. We have kept you waiting for a very long time, telling you about this beautiful gem of where we are in the middle of nowhere. And finally, here we are. We took you through the journey to get to this place, and here we finally are. My name is Zakia Lucky. Welcome on the GMU Tourism Express. You might be wondering where we are this morning. We are at Dolwe Island. It's just in the northeastern part of Uganda, just 25 square kilometers, and in Lake Victoria. It's a gem just in the middle of nowhere, but the beauty surrounding it is totally exceptional. Most of you have probably seen this on social media, or even so many people talk about it, including myself. But finally, here we are, and we give you a chance to see for yourself and learn, probably put out what those have not put out. I've realized that there's so much written on these rocks. I have seen a number of rocks, but never have I seen anything look like this before. And by the way, it's not just what's in the background. There's so much more. There's another big stone just in the middle of Lake Victoria, and so many others in the surroundings. It's just a beautiful place to be. Good surroundings, and join me as we find out the history behind this. It's an archaeological site with so much writings on it, rock paintings, and so much carvings. We are here to find out what is hidden behind this, what are the meanings behind this, and the stories. So stick with us as we just get to know more about this island. Like you can see, we are already on site. We have Ugandans that are already exploring Dolwe Island. But with me is Mr. Gabriel, who is going to be giving us the history of Dolwe, telling us how it has been sustained for such a very long time and what happens in this place. We're so happy to have you, Mr. Gabriel.
Thank you.
Yes, please introduce yourself and tell us more about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Discharge Gabriel. I'm a native of the land. I welcome you to Dolwe Rock Art Site, and particularly there is a history connected with we the native and then this island. And briefly, I'm going to give the history and how we came up with the name of Dolwe. And also, as we see on the Google map, we Google it and then we find it is Lolwe. But actually, we had the Bantu speaking people who were the Vasiguru. Are these the brothers of the Bavuma and then the Suba people? These are people who came these islands, estimated in 12 centuries ago. And now the word Lolwe came up from one who was the founder called Rabango, and we grew up telling us that Lolwe Rabango, meaning Lolwe belongs to Rabango. Lolwe was, when he was trying to invade the place, the new place to stay, was so amazing place because of its beauty, as you can see it's behind me, and then said that you come and see by yourself. In that Lusiguru dialect of Lolwe was Muchemulolwe. It means that you come and see, like in Uganda we say kwerorera, you come and see by yourself because the place was so amazing. Now from then he called this place to be a place of someone seeing by himself. Then from there it began to be known as a Lolwe. And now the time moved, time and again, people stayed. After the death of Bishop Huntington, they were hit with the sassafly. And according to the story that I got from my grandmother, they told me that the sassafly that hit these Busoga shores and the islands, it wasn't the real sassaflies that they used to see. Because during those days, they had the sassaflies that people were used with. But this one was a bit actually harmful that they told us that it was brought by the white people to punish us for the death of Bishop Huntington. And now, when it came, our people had to flee away from the sassafly. Just like you saw when there was a eruption of COVID-19 in Kampala, people ran away from Kampala. No one moved from the village to Kampala. Now, these people, they moved to the nearby areas, which was the eastern part. They went to Kenya because these people were fishermen, and they had to continue with the fishing so that they would continue living. Now, time went on, and then eventually they had to come back. That is why you find that there is a loss of the culture, because after staying there for some time, people came up with, again, different languages, people speaking Luo, people speaking other different language, and the culture also really reduced. And we have a few of us who can tell these stories, but a number of our people do not know them. And also, the Dolwe came in yesterday, actually recently here, in 2009, between 5 to 9, when our brothers of the Baganda, they began calling the Dolwe. But there is also perception of those who say that the word Lolwe means Luo. It is not Luo, because in Luo dialect, they do not have the meaning of Lolwe. However, those people were taught fishing with these people of ours, the Bantu. And the farthest point of the island that they would reach, it is Dolwe Island. And for us, like in the fishermen, normally when you reach the farthest point on the water, you give that to a lake or the water, the name of that place. For example, when you're in Uganda, they will tell you that I'm in the water of Kalangala. You get? Now, the farthest point the Luo would reach, the side, was the island of Lolwe. Now, they would say that the lake or the water of Lolwe. Now, they use that word concurrently. And then people now gave them to say it is theirs, but it is not theirs. However, the white man also substituted just W with U and then E with the I. And as you know, that when we sound the syllables and the sounds, the W sounds like U, and then I and E, they're the same. It depends with what you're writing. But normally in English, they use I, and for us we use E, Lolwe. Now for them it is Lolwe. You get? That is it. However, there is a lot of history on this island here. When we talk about now the rock art in general, actually Lolwe is leading in East Africa, because we have a lot of things that are here. We have the caves that our ancestors used to stem. And as this history tells, that before the invasion of Huts, people used to stay under the rocks. And this is one of them. And we have caves here. We have caves all over the island because the island is rocky. And they used to stay under those islands. And they also left behind their work that they did, which is the art, the rock art. We have the paintings here that have stayed over 2,000 years ago, that they were done with our ancestors. However, the art that was done on these rocks, it is connected with the Twa people. Connected with the Twa people. Why do we say that it is connected with the Twa people? According to the history, we are told that the first inhabitant of the Great Lake region, they were the Twa people. And therefore, we assume that whatever was done before our ancestors, the Bantu crossing from the Congo Basin to this area of Uganda, Kenya, the Great Lake region. It has been done with those, the Twa. That is why it is connected with the Twa people. Even when you go to Mufangano Island, we have the paintings there, but we also connect them with those, the Twa people. That is why we say it was also done with the Twa people. Then there is also something that we know and people also heard about in Uganda, called the so-called the Bachwezi, and you know, now also our people do not understand such. However, when we talk about the Chwezi, that is the religion, the way people would communicate, that feeling of communicating with someone without seeing him face to face. The spiritual being, you know, they so believed in the spiritual being. That's why even in our books of history, they will tell you that they did not see where the Bachwezi went. Perhaps they went back to heaven. You know, they were so spiritual enough. Now, there is also spiritual connection on this island here. You're going to find and to reach some of our sites that were spiritual sites. And today, people have changed from now the ancient to the modernity, and they go there for prayer mountains for the Western churches and the religion. Yes, we want to hike up there, and we want to see that the plane-like or a bird-like rock, which is called Kandege, meaning a plane in our Bantu, Lucy, Gulu, and even the Luya connected language. And it's so amazing with you ready to hike.
It's been such an amazing history, but remember, this is just the start. Excited to know what is yet to be told, especially when we get in there now. Getting here, I thought this is just Dolwe, but I'm learning that the lorry in it. Now stick with us to get to know what more this island has to offer and the hidden gems, the history, and all of that that is packaged for us. Remember, this is just the first episode. Now stick with us to just get to know more about this tomorrow. Thank you.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Time for JMU Business. Welcome back from JMU Tourism Express. And looking at business with me, Julie Nantabamosisi, Uganda's Business Climate Index shows significant rise in business confidence in Q2, with the finding by the Economic Policy Research Center showing a 3.7% rise compared to Q1 of the 2025 calendar year. However, the Makerere University-based think tank is wary of the election season, which threatens to affect foreign direct investment due to investors shying away due to the electoral process. The Uganda Business Climate Business Index for the month of April to June quarter is out, and it shows some slight improvement in business confidence across the country's private sector. The quarterly index, based on research findings by the Economic Policy Research Center, a Makerere university-based government think tank, shows a 3.7 points rise from 88.8 in the previous quarter to 99.5 in quarter 2. This positive outlook is driven by This positive outlook is driven by anticipated general business optimism, increased demand from expected political spending, and projected decline in input costs. Uganda's increasingly stable currency is also attributed to business confidence improvement. However, this rosy outlook might be overshadowed by the electioneering season that is often linked to the decline in foreign direct investment. Globally, investors always take a cautious approach during election periods, especially in emerging and developing economies like Uganda, where the risks may be pronounced. Now, moving on, Tesla has reported its biggest decline in quarterly revenue in more than a decade as CEO Elon Musk's political activity weighs on the electric car maker brand's reputation. Revenue fell to $22.5 billion for the month of April to June quarter from $25.5 billion a year earlier, according to its earnings report, which Tesla released after the closing bell on Wall Street. Analysts on average were expecting revenue of $22.74 billion according to data compiled by LSEG. Revenue from car sales declined by 16%. Tesla attributed the revenue dip to a decline in vehicle deliveries. Earlier this month, it reported a 14% decline in car deliveries in the second quarter. Investors are worried about whether Musk will be able to give enough time and attention to Tesla after he locked horns with United States President Donald Trump by forming a new political party this month. Weeks earlier, he had promised that he would cut back on government work and focus on his companies. Musk's connections to the Trump administration and layoffs across the U.S. government when he headed the Department of Government Efficiency weighed on its U.S. reputation. Meanwhile, the billionaire's endorsements of the far-right AfD party in Germany have affected the brand's reputation in Europe. Well, now let's have a look at what is with the forex rates as of 23rd July 2025, and there the US dollar opened at 3,584 buying, that is 3,584.55 buying, and was selling at 3,594.55. It was at 3,584.45, dropped a bit there by midday, and was selling at 3,594.45. It closed in at 3,584.77, an increase there, a slight increase, and selling at 3,594.77. Looking at the British pound, it was buying at 4,847.68, which makes it an increase actually from the previous one that is buying, and closed in at a sale of 4,861.20. And the euro was buying at 4,205, which is an increase as well from the previous date of 4,183, and it was selling at 4,217.02 as of yesterday. And the Kenyan shilling was buying at 27.74 yesterday, which still had it increase from the previous date, and was selling at 27.82. And the Tanzanian shilling has maintained the buying at 1.37 and selling at 1.37. The South African rand buying at 204.26 and selling at 204.83. And with that, at a look at the forex rates, we come to the end of JMU Business. Up next is the agenda, and we are talking matters environment with the National Environment Management Authority. Good morning.
UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Hello, Kampala, Uganda. In response to the national call of strengthening the traffic security, Good Products Group HGO brand has officially launched the rider selection campaign. Registration is now open. Visit www.riders.hgo.com. Complete your registration now for a chance to win exciting prizes including motorcycles, exclusive HGO gift boxes, and official rider vests, all while promoting safe riding awareness. This is how to participate. Pay the registration fee, invite 3 friends to form a team of 4, and your registration fee will instantly be refunded. Begin your journey of honor today. Don't miss this opportunity. Join the challenge, promote road safety, and become a pioneer rider. For details, visit the official Good Products website at www.hgo.com or call toll-free 0800-335-555 or visit our offices at Kingdom Kampala 3rd floor to register now and win prizes worth millions.
The government's core mandate is to maintain law and order, safeguard citizens' rights, and provide essential public services.
Remember, one of the pillars of a roadmap is innovation and entrepreneurship.
There has been this question of how are you protecting our indigenous seed?
It's going to be a tall project that answers somebody's question.
For the past 20 weeks, the front bench has brought you insightful discussions on governance, security, healthcare, justice, and commerce.
When you go through this complicated procedure, involve the lawyers, you bring the case against him, the judge will hear you out and pass judgment, and you're out of court in record time.
We remain committed to keeping you informed and engaged on key national matters.
So these are huge, these are powerful organizations which now Uganda chairs. Why don't you come together?
If we haven't migrated to the e-card because of various reasons, including that not all the people of Uganda have smartphones.
You can sit in your house, apply for a passport.
If you have a Ugandan who has a successful logistics firm in the US, it means he can come to Uganda and do a lot more.
Now airing every Monday at 8:30 p.m. with me, Jethro Kasaiji, your interface with the government only on your public broadcaster, UBC, Inspiring Uganda.
This August, Africa gathers again. The passion, the pride, the beautiful game. It's Chan 2025. And the heart of the action, Uganda, the Pearl of Africa stands ready. Not just with a world-class stadium, but with open arms for every African nation. Nambole and its floodlights are already welcoming. From Kampala to Karamoja, our stadium is set. The pitch is perfect, the stage is built, and the spirit of Uganda is unmatched. Come feel the rhythm, taste the warmth, and witness hospitality like no other. Uganda welcomes all of Africa for a Chan like never before. Chan 2025, unity, passion, victory, and it's all happening right here in Uganda. Don't just watch history, be part of it.
Pick of the day on UBC.
He expected me to die like within the first 2 years. Out of the womb, the child will get pains, especially in the wrists. And this happens common when children are starting to walk.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Our program of poverty eradication is a must. We want everybody to be involved.
Through the parish development model, Ugandans are starting small but impactful projects to improve their livelihoods.
When we give 1 million, we know it's not enough to do many things, but it's a starting point.
I'm a PDM beneficiary, a farmer. Your Excellency, I was given 1 million Uganda shillings from Kobil Kawo PDM Circle. Your Excellency, I got 20 bunches from my small piece of land sold, got 400,000, put in the PDM farm, Your Excellency, in the PDM money, Your Excellency, I bought a cow of 1,400,000.
In 1 year, 100 families in the parish you get. In 5 years, 500 families would have got.
We were the first people to receive money from Nakaprepret. I received $1 million. I rented 4 acres of land and I was able to harvest 14 bags.
So really this 1 million is enabling somebody to start something. Yes, and we don't want to give too much money to one person because we have got very many people to cover.
The parish development model empowers the people, focusing on lifting up the masses and creating opportunities that ensure prosperity for all. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance.
Mukoke Fish Farmers Association tuli balunzi ba byananda ebyebika ebisatu omuli Miracap, tilapia oba engege ni catfish twete male. Group eno twatandika twali abantu basatu nga tulingirira obwetaavu obwebyenanda obw'obwivwa eno okubona nti tufuna okasente akava mu maadi agali gatambula butambule nga gatubita ku wano ng'ekirabo. Twatandika ni fish pond ndala mu mwaka gw'e2018. Twebaza fisheries officer ni district ya Bugiri babanga batulagirira kusaani fish farm ebuyikwe inside day ndeyo twabanga tusobola okufuna kwetusaako obugege obwasooka era mu mwaka ogwali 2020 awo basobola okubanga batuwaayo ebyenanda emitwalo $40 okuva mu operation werese creation era okubayongereza ku emmere yatuweebwa okuva Uganda Poultry Breeders. Twasobola okubanga tusoloza akasente akawerera obukayire nga 42. Twasobola okubanga tubuinvestinga oba okubona nti twongerezaako ku bimu ku bintu bye tukola gano. Twebaza gavumenti yaife okubanga buli saawa efaayo okubanga efeeri y'Abannayuganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Thank you so much for always choosing UBC TV. It is indeed Good Morning Uganda, the name of the show. My name is Julie Nantaba Musisi, and like I mentioned earlier, we would be having a conversation with the National Environment Management Authority and looking at the state of Uganda's environment. And to do that with us is Dr. Bareriga Akankwasa, who is the Executive Director at NEMA. Now, to be a part of the conversation, 0709-602-592. It's a WhatsApp number that you are able to send a WhatsApp message to only, not to call. Send a WhatsApp message and be a part of the conversation as we have a better picture and understanding at the current state of Uganda's environment. Good morning, Mr. Akankwasa.
A very good morning, Julie. A very good morning, our dear listeners and viewers.
You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And let's start from here. When we talk about the environment, let's just speak about it in terms of an ordinary Ugandan. What exactly do we mean?
Yeah, when we talk about environment, we mainly refer to 3 main things. The first thing is what we call the physical dimension of environment or physical factors. These include the climate, they include the air we breathe, they include the water we use for household, for industrial and commercial production. It includes soil, anything which does not have life but exists. That's the physical factors. Then we have the biological factors, plants and animals normally. That's where we have trees, that's where we have all kinds of plants, all kinds of animals, wildlife. That's the biological factors. Then the last dimension, which is always least talked about, is the social dimension. The well-being of people, the culture of people, the health of people, and how they relate with the environment. So the social factors. That's why when we are examining impacts of development, we don't only look at physical and biological factors, no. That's why we call it environment and social impact assessment. So when we talk about environment, we are basically talking about the whole 360 degrees of life. Everything is literal environment. We have built environment, which includes the buildings, the infrastructure, the museums. We have the natural environment, which is the forests, the wetlands, the national parks. And then we have the social factors connecting them. That's our culture and our well-being. So environment is literally all around
Everything.
us. Everything.
Right.
That's why managing environment takes participation of everybody. No single institution of government or government itself as a whole can deliver environment. Every action, every player in the environment has a role to play. And of course, collectively together, that's how we can have environment that we need to survive. Because you cannot survive without environment. It underpins the foundation of life. Yeah.
Very profound background you've given there, especially the picture of everything being involved in the environment. Now, let's start from wetlands, which I think would fall into the physical aspect of the environment. When we look at Uganda's wetlands, how much has been degraded and how much has been saved over the past decade?
Globally, wetlands have been on the decline for the whole continent. The biggest decline we see is in North America, is in Asia, is in Oceania, and of course Africa. But of course, Africa has lost the least amount of wetlands globally. If you look at those three regions, what comes into your mind is that as you claim to have developed, your rate of loss of wetland also goes up. So North America leads in wetland loss, but also leads in GDP, economic GDP, as you are aware. And then Asia and Australia and New Zealand, which we call Oceania. Africa has lost the least amount of wetlands, but also has the least GDP in terms of economy. What do we learn from here is that if you do not follow a sustainable development path, you can achieve higher GDP but lose natural capital. If we come home here in Uganda, we had about 15% of our land surface covered by wetlands as of 1995. This has reduced, not so significantly, but went to 8.9% from 1995 to 2015. So we lost about almost 6%. But we see a slight recovery from 2015 to now. We are at 13% of our land surface now covered by wetlands. So we can confidently say from 1995 to date, we've lost about 2% of our wetlands in terms of land surface proportion. Of course, that's a great loss.
It is.
It is a great loss. But we see slight recovery now. The intact wetland as of last 2 years was 8.9. 13 is total, including degraded parts. But 8.9 was intact, pristine, like the way you go and to Nambijirwa there and see pristine wetland. That's 8.9% 2 years ago. This has increased to 9.3 now. So we can say we have halted further loss of wetland cover, and we are on a path to recovery. Recovery is not easy, as you know. Recovering a wetland means you are foregoing an agricultural farm, you are foregoing a building that was there, you are foregoing settlements. So recovery is not easy, but is possible. There are some areas that are recoverable where degradation has not converted the whole wetland. And this is what we've been doing across the country, trying to recover places which are recoverable and protecting those which are pristine so that we do not have any further loss.
Right. Yeah. So recoverable, that means they've had been degraded, but there are chances of them getting
back the ecological functions.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you talk about the comparisons between the GDP and wetland loss across the world, but also in Africa.
Yeah.
And comparing and critically looking at wealth creation, matters health, infrastructure. Why is the environment important if you put all of these in comparison?
First of all, environment underpins wealth creation. It's the foundation of wealth creation. You cannot have wealth unless you have environment. And these are many ways that environment underpins wealth creation. One, environment provides inputs for production. When we talk about raw materials for production, you cannot talk about agriculture when you don't have fertile land. You can't talk about wood industry without talking about timber. You can't talk about electricity without talking about water. And you can't talk, for the case of Uganda, because there are other forms of electricity. But for our case, hydroelectric power is entirely generated from water, which water comes from environment directly. So you lose forest cover, you lose wetland cover, you do not have electricity. Let's look at agriculture, for example, which employs over 80% of our population as a country and is still responsible for a significant proportion of the GDP for our country. All our agriculture currently is reliant upon natural pollination. Without pollination, you are not going to have any productivity. Who does the pollination? We are talking about insects, we are talking about the bees, we are talking about the birds, we are talking about the wind. So what that means is that actually you cannot produce any wealth from agriculture minus environment. So environment is the constant factor, it is the base, it is the foundation from which you can generate the wealth. If we look at minerals, they all come from the environment. Talk about oil and gas, talk about gold, talk about copper, they all come from the environment. So without the environment, you do not have the raw materials for production. You cannot have industries. You cannot have agriculture. Without water, you can't do any manufacturing, so you can't have industrialization. Without proper rainfall, you can't have productivity in agriculture. Without clean air is needed for the pollinators to exist, the birds, the insects, they all breathe clean air, but also the human beings who are the forerunners of wealth creation. They must be healthy and alive to generate wealth. You can't be healthy and alive If you are breathing polluted air, you can't be healthy, and therefore you can't produce the wealth. If you do not have access to clean water for domestic use as well as for commercial production or industrialization. So, in summary, you cannot talk about wealth creation minus environment. We now have what we call global warming. 2024 was declared by scientists as the warmest year on record since pre-industrial times. Pre-industrial times, we are talking about 1850 to 1900. From 1850, we've not had any warmer year than 2024. The world has surpassed 1.5 degrees Celsius promise that was meant to be delivered by the Paris Agreement. What that means is that we've passed a threshold where we may have fair control of environment disasters. We are passing the tipping point. As I talk now, global surface temperature stands at 1.57. So we've surpassed the 1.5 degrees Celsius mark, which was our hope to halt global temperatures there so that we can manage the impacts. But what point was I making? I'm making the point of the role of environment in wealth creation. So with the global climate change with us now, having passed the 1.5 degrees Celsius mark, having got the warmest year on record since prehistorical, pre-industrial times, it means that climate change is here. You've seen floods, you've seen hurricanes, you've seen droughts, you've seen wildfires. Wildfires in California just recently blew 190 billion US dollars in losses. 190 billion. For comparison purposes, Uganda's GDP is about 61 billion US dollars. 61. We are talking about wildfires wiping out 190 billion. That's 3 times the GDP of Uganda, just in a flash. Recent Texas floods, which are still fresh.
Yes, as of just last month.
It is last month. Over 22 billion US dollars was lost from that flood. 161 people still missing, over 135 people dying. This is world's #1 economy and superpower, meaning they have proper physical planning, they have flood mitigation capabilities, they have early warning systems in place, they have rescue services up to the point, they have ability to respond. They just lost 22 billion US dollars, they lost 135 people dying, they lost 161 still missing, over 2 million people affected. This is just a flood. So what am I saying? If you do not manage environment, you can lose all the wealth you've generated for a long time in just a flash. Just a flash. And so, you must, as you generate wealth, cushion the wealth from the vagaries of environment disasters. How do you do that? Maintaining ecosystem balance. Where there is a wetland, keep it there. Where there is a river, keep it. Plant more trees. So that if you have a flood, the wetlands would mitigate the severity of damage. The forest cover will mitigate severity of drought, loss of water. We've experienced heat wave just recently. Slight heat wave. Because climate change or global warming is not as pronounced in Africa yet as it is in North America, in Arctic, Asia, the global surface temperatures there are higher than the ones of Africa on account of Africa being more green, because Africa overall has more green, has more wetlands, has more forests compared to, say, North America or compared to Asia. So that has helped us to reduce damage from environment disasters. So we must manage environment to protect our wealth from disasters. We must cushion our wealth creation processes from risks of environment devastation. Lastly, environment can generate wealth directly. You've heard about tourism. In Uganda now we are promoting what we call ATMs. Those are our top priorities for the next 5 years. ATMs, we are talking about agro-industrialization. We are talking about tourism. We are talking about mining, including oil and gas. We are talking about service industries through innovation and science. So without wildlife, without culture, you can't talk about tourism. So the money we are making, tourism for a long time has been our biggest foreign exchange earner. It was taken over during COVID times, but it has rebounded, it is back. So you generate all those billions directly from environment. So in summary, environment is not only a precursor for wealth creation, it is the insurance for wealth creation, and it is a direct source of raw materials for wealth creation, and is wealth itself. Because if you do not look after environment, you will spend more in addressing the consequences of environment damage. If you do not address air quality, you will spend more treating respiratory ailments, and if you have a sick nation, you cannot talk about wealth creation in that nation. Yeah.
That is very, very true. And indeed, if you talk about polluted air, you tend to look at areas like urban centers. And I have an experience of having been, well, of course, dwelling in Kampala, but I got an opportunity to travel to Kisoro. And for that 3 days, 3 to 4 days perhaps, I stayed in Kisoro. I never sneezed. I never reacted, and yet it's extremely cold compared to what's in Kampala with everything that's going on. Now, in a short while, we're going to look at air pollution, but let's first look at the forest cover. Statistics, at least research, shows that in 1990, Uganda's forest cover, according to research, was at about 24%. And declined to 9% thereabouts when it came to 2018. Not so far from wetlands as well, if you think about it. And as of 2024, it's recorded at 13.3%. And with the goal of reaching 15% by next year. What does that interpret from NEMA's perspective?
Thank you for giving the right statistics. You are very well informed. We had, in 1900, Uganda, 45% of Uganda was covered by forest cover. 1900. But of course, as population grows, land is occupied for settlement, for industrialization, for agriculture. So the forest cover also declines as you develop. If you develop wrongly, because you can actually attain the forest cover as you develop. By doing, for example, agroforestry, having urban forestry, greening our spaces, road reserves, railway reserves, so you can achieve both. And some towns, some cities in the world have achieved both. So true, as you've said, we had almost run out of forests. Because from 45% in 1900, to 24%, then to just 9%. The country was running out of trees, as we say. That's why government came up with a program called Roots Program, running out of trees, abbreviated as Roots. But also, apart from Roots Program, initiated by the Ministry of Water and Environment and partners, and private sector, civil society, and all citizens. We've had also commercial forestry. We've had people invest in forestry as a business. You take Hoima Road, you take Mitiana Road, you will see huge expanses of private forestry. The downturn is that most of the commercial forestry plantations have focused on exotic trees, eucalyptus, pine. Yes, they are important for wood industry. They are also important for environment services, better than nothing. But we need more of indigenous natural trees because they store more carbon. They have greater impact on climate amelioration, and they have higher return in terms of price and quality of wood, although it takes a longer time for them to mature. So we need both. We need indigenous trees to restore our environment back to what it was. And then we can have commercial forestry for business as exotics, so that we have both. The reason we need both is that if you go for the natural forests for your wood industry, you will destabilize ecosystem balance because you will cut down central forest, natural central forest reserves, national parks for wood and timber and biomass. But if you have exotic commercial forests, it will cushion now the indigenous and the natural forests from the pressure of needs of society for wood. So we need both. So we could confidently say that Uganda has also, as I said, for wetlands, halted further loss of forest cover and has started a path to recovery. We call it turning the curve. From 9 to 13, you see, you are going back.
Yes.
And we are optimistic that by 2040, we should be back at least 15. That's our target. And we want to thank Ugandans for planting trees. Because if you look at government-managed forest cover, there is literal loss there. Most of the loss of forest cover has occurred on private land on account of charcoal burning, on account of agriculture expansion, on account of industrialization, on account of urbanization, on account of industrialization. So, if we must restore the forest cover, we need the private people, you and me, to plant trees, for example, on the boundaries. Instead of bringing a barbed wire to separate your land from the neighbor's land, plant trees there. You will have money. If you have a farm, instead of cleaning it so that it is like an airport, leave some trees because the animals also need the shade. The animals will need water, and those trees will be catchment for those trees. We need trees on road reserves. As a must, we now require all road reserves when we are approving environment and social impact assessment. We require all road reserves to be greened. We need green spaces, green parks in cities. The idea that forests have nothing to do with the cities is wrong. We've seen some advocates talking about relocating central forest reserves in urban areas to rural areas so that urban areas can be further developed. That's wrong. Because in rural areas, like you've rightly said, air quality is already much better. It's green already. Where you have more fumes, where you have more traffic jam, where you have more industries, is in these urban areas. So that's where you need trees even more than in villages.
Right.
So we need more forests in urban areas, in cities, than we need them in rural areas, because rural areas are not doing as bad as urban areas. Yeah.
And speaking of air pollution, how would you describe the state of Uganda's air quality, especially for urban centers? And on that note, allow me read this comment from Isaac, who is in Lubowa. He says,
Okay.
good morning. What plan does NEMA have for the DMC taxis polluting the air? Tufa banange.
It's true that emissions from vehicular, what we call vehicular emissions,
Yes.
Emissions from automobiles, contribute a very significant proportion of air pollution in Uganda. The drivers are automobiles, especially border borders, matatus, and of course our vehicles, the saloon vehicles, most especially DMCs, as you have said, because DMCs pollute more.
Yes.
But bad engines also pollute more. Like some border borders which are single stroke engines, they pollute more because they do not have capacity to burn fuel to completion. So they release more fumes. And then use of biomass for cooking is another big polluter for air, especially in rural areas. Our mothers, our wives, our daughters, they are dying in the kitchen using these 3-stone cooking. Especially if you do not have good ventilation, you are slowly killing yourself. So that's a big issue for biomass. And then we have industrial emissions. So, and then poor waste management. You find the people doing open burning of waste. If you do open burning of waste, then you are increasing air pollution. Irresponsible management of waste from poultry and piggery farms. That's another factor where we have conflict between neighbors, and because of the emissions from poultry and piggery waste. These also contribute to air pollution because you get ammonia, you get nitrous oxides, sulfides, etc. All these pollute air. But coming back to your question, the state of air quality in Uganda. Overall, Uganda is one of the countries in Africa that is doing well in air quality, overall as a country. But when we come to urban areas, we have some urban centers that are doing very badly. But overall, I can give you the statistics according to Air Quality Index dashboard. Uganda now overall stands at, if we use, there is a factor that we use to measure air quality called particulate matter, 2.5. So we stand at 13 micrograms per cubic meter of 2.5 particulate matter, what we call 2.5 PM values. World Health requires that ultimately we must be at 5. But to get to 5, World Health Organization has set 4 intermediate steps. 5 is the ultimate, where everyone must be. As I speak today, no single country in the world has attained 5. Not even developed economies like US, Europe. No single country has attained WHO ultimate target of 5. The second target, 5 is the ultimate, followed by 10. 10 is still considered okay. That's the second intermediate. The third intermediate is 15. It is also still considered safe. From 15 you go to 20. 20 is also still considered safe. Up to 35. 35 is the cutoff. If you are above 35, that is unhealthy breathing. Unhealthy breathing.
Right.
The best breathing is 5, but no country in the world has attained it. We are at 13 as a nation. So you see that 35 is the bad air. We are at 13. This morning I was checking, Muyenga was at 16. Muyenga. But some areas like Owino, some areas like Chisenyi were at 60, which is above recommended breathing. It is unhealthy breathing. If you are a pregnant person, or if you are a child, or if you are a person sensitive, you are supposed to avoid these areas. You are supposed to wear a mask. So, overall as a nation, we are still doing very, very well compared to many countries, including in Asia, in Europe and Americas. 13 micrograms per cubic meter as a nation, we are doing very well. We are healthy. It is healthy breathing. But we want to be at 5, which is the desired goal.
Yes.
Now, for urban areas where there is a lot of traffic, the readings are above 35, which is healthy. So we must take urgent measures to address that, because air pollution is a silent killer. Annually, we lose 1.2 million people globally on air pollution, especially premature death, and then the elderly, those who have respiratory underlying factors, they cannot breathe air which is above 35 micrograms per cubic meter. So we must plant more trees in our cities. We must remove the DMCs that you have talked about. We have introduced, as government, air quality regulations and standards. And we've introduced a standard of Euro 4 engine standard. If you are below that standard, your vehicle will not be on our road in the next 2 years. The regulations were gazetted last year, so we've just started implementation. We are working with Ministry of Works and Transport to come up with a phased approach. After raising awareness and preparing Ugandans and sensitizing them, then we shall start implementation. How will it be done? There will be annual screening of vehicles to weed out DMCs, to weed out engines that do not meet air quality standards for Uganda. That way, we shall manage the transport sector. But you are aware that government has capitalized Chira Motor Corporation to produce electric buses, which are emission-free. These are the ones we need on our roads. Just imagine if we removed all matatus and border borders in Kampala, CBD, and replaced them with a bus system, and have these Kanyis and border borders in the suburbs, so that it's a win-win. You will have improved air quality immediately. Why am I saying this? In COVID, when vehicles were at rest, our air quality was one of the best we've ever had in the nation. Meaning that vehicle emissions are very significant, higher than any other contributor. The other contributors, of course, must also be addressed. Industrial emissions, we are requiring all industries now to install air quality monitoring meters, which submit real-time information to NEMA. So that if you are emitting above the standards, we shall see and know in real time. Then we can come, help you to improve. If you cannot improve, then we enforce. You first help, you give compliance assistance, you advise them on technology to be used, because we now have technology. You can install scrubbers, you can install electrostatic precipitators to improve the air before you release it from the industry. You know, government is doing a lot in extending electricity to rural areas, in reducing the tariff of electricity for industrialization, and eventually clean cooking. Because if industries are using electricity, the emissions will be less. Some industries use firewood. Others use bagasse. Now, burning these biomass will result in more emissions than if you are using electricity, but also will result in cutting of trees. So, reducing the tariff for industries helps to control pollution. It reduces the cost of doing business, and therefore lower cost of products, and therefore more jobs for industrialization and better environment. And clean cooking, of course, will save our mothers, our sisters and daughters from silent death that is happening in our kitchen. We need it very, very urgently.
Right.
We must stop open burning of waste, because that's a direct source of emissions. We must manage our waste in a professional way.
Right. Now, we are going to bring this conversation to the end, and we are stopping at matters air pollution. But I look forward to having Dr. Akankwasa back to speak more, because there's a lot of the questions that we had. I can see from your engagement the avalanche of messages coming in, as well as a lot and a broad perspective of the state of Uganda's environment that we had to look at today, but time is never our best friend. Let me start bringing this to the end with a couple of your comments that are coming in. I believe that when next he comes back, he'll be able to engage, but at least let him hear some of what you have to say. Barugahare Nathan from Kazo says, most parts of Kazo and Chiruhura, there is no environmental degradation, but the environment is so hot all the time. And good morning, my name is Mwami Neri Ronald. I thank the guest for what he is sharing. I'm among a team that is trying to invent a way of restoring wetlands, specifically in cities that is community-led. We have tried to reach NEMA but have failed to meet them. To talk about our proposal, may he highlight on a way we can reach NEMA to share our suggestions? I think that's very important. Is there a way NEMA can be approached?
Yes, NEMA is located on Ginger Road, the NEMA house. You can reach NEMA directly. You can reach NEMA through email, info@nema.go.ug. So you can reach us through our social media handles.
Yes.
NEMA@UG. Just go on X, NEMA@UG. NEMA, yes, NEMA UG, NEMA UG. At NEMA UG. So you can reach us through very, very many ways.
Right.
Don't feel limited.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Akankwasa, for coming through. I'm looking forward to having you back.
Pleasure.
Because it looks like this is not yet complete.
Sure, sure.
All right. That's
Thank you.
it for Good Morning Uganda. Ruben is coming back with bands for the GMU business. So stick around. Good Morning Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Hello, Kampala, Uganda. In response to the national call of strengthening the traffic security, Good Products Group HGO brand has officially launched the Rider Selection Campaign. Registration is now open. Visit www.riders.hgo.com. Complete your registration now for a chance to win exciting prizes including motorcycles, exclusive HGO gift boxes, and official rider vests, all while promoting safe riding awareness. This is how to participate. Pay the registration fee, invite 3 friends to form a team of 4, and your registration fee will instantly be refunded. Begin your journey of honor today. Don't miss this opportunity. Join the challenge, promote road safety, and become a pioneer rider. For details, visit the official Good Products website at www.hgo.com or call toll free 0800-335-555 or visit our offices at Kingdom Kampala 3rd floor to register now and win prizes worth millions.
Pick of the day on UBC.
He expected me to die like within the first 2 years. Out of the womb, the child will get pains, especially in the wrists. And this happens commonly when children are starting to walk.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN. MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the MyMTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
This August, Africa gathers again. The passion, the pride, the beautiful game. It's Chan 2025. And the heart of the action, Uganda, the Pearl of Africa stands ready. Not just with a world-class stadium, but with open arms for every African nation. Nambole and its floodlights are already welcoming. From Kampala to Karamoja, our stadium is set. The pitch is perfect, the stage is built, and the spirit of Uganda is unmatched. Come feel the rhythm, taste the warmth, and witness hospitality like no other. Uganda welcomes all of Africa for a Chan like never before. Chan 2025, unity, passion, victory, and it's all happening right here in Uganda. Don't just watch history, be part of it.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, my name is Ruben Pima. Of course, we are here to discuss matters Chan and other sports-related issues. But of course, when you see me happy, you know that I've moved with the senior man, with the man brother calls the expert on sport, and of course, a man who has been here for quite some time, who has covered sport for over 2 decades. The names are John Barnes, St. Barnes. Good to see you.
Be fair to me, it's not 2 decades. By the way, Ruben,
it's over 2 decades.
I think for all my life.
All your life.
Because even when I was growing up as a 4 or 5 year old, I had those journalism instincts in me. I was the one telling my sisters that this and this today, this and this tomorrow. This
okay.
So it's from birth.
From birth, yeah. You've been in sport from
yes.
From your mother's womb.
Yes.
To date.
To date.
Okay.
My father in the 70s was a great Manchester United fan.
Oh.
So I grew up in a sporting family.
So why did you support Manchester?
I don't want to be taken up by a particular team. Okay. I want to follow sport in general. Oh. When I come here, I have to talk sport without any bias.
Okay.
Otherwise, for you, AC Milan and Italy are your teams, and when it comes to that, you will never be objective.
I watched the game between Italy and England, the ladies' game. I was heartbroken. But anyway, John Barnes, let's start with the Chan. 9 days to Chan.
Yeah.
What do you have as an update?
Of course, tomorrow the president is going to officially launch the Ugandan chapter at Kololo, and loads of things will be talked about. But we can't. In my vernacular, they say, tosuna ngabasumurula. We have to wait for the president tomorrow, because the president usually comes up with many newsworthy points whenever he meets sportsmen and women lately in the country. That will be at Kololo tomorrow. But the team today is in Arusha, Tanzania, where they play the reigning champions Senegal in their second pre-Chan tournament. We lost the first one against Tanzania 1-0. Today we come back against Senegal, who are the champions. And what I've heard from camp is that every player is ready and raring to go. There were mistakes we made in that game against Tanzania, but of course, without mistakes, you do not learn. The most important thing now is how we come out of this alive and kicking, go into that August 4th kickoff against Algeria at the mighty Mandela National Stadium, Nambole. That is what we've got to look at too. Coach Molebye Kwanso and his colleague Fred Muhumuza, and of course team captain Alan Okello, are on the drawing board trying to ignite Ugandans and ensuring that we get the momentum right going into this championship. Ruben, the Championship of African Nations is in its 8th edition?
7th edition. This is the 7th edition.
No, it's the 8th. We're playing our 7th.
Our 7th. Oh,
it's
yes.
The 8th.
Because we missed one.
Yeah, we missed the 2009 one. But our results down there are not the best, so we've got to work on many things. We only have two wins from 18 engagements we've played. And we need to increase that, of course. The first result we got was against Burkina Faso, those who set up that brace in 2014 in South Africa. Then we came, the latest result has been at the latest championship where we beat Ivory Coast 1 goal to 0, scored by Milton Karisa. We've drawn 6 occasions, and we've lost 10. We've scored 10 goals. We've conceded 27. We have only 8 guys that have scored for us goals. Of course, Yunus Sentamu, the one who has scored the most for us, 2 goals there. But the Farouk Mayers of this world, the Joseph Ochas of this world, the Jeffrey Seronkomas of this world, the Milton Karisas of this world, the Waiswandondi of this world, and of course, we can never forget the 3 occasions, Ruben, that Ugandans need to celebrate about the CHAN. That result in 2014, that 2-1 against Burkina Faso, then the latest Ivory Coast 1-0 in 2022. But for me, I will never forget the goal scored by Saidi Cheyude during the 2020 championship in Cameroon against Togo, the Thunderbolt from the center. That was
that earned a transfer from
That is how good as football can become. Yes. You can become a millionaire by just doing one thing. So Toro should better leave the cameras and you can start playing football.
But his age.
No,
can he play at his age?
He can play with the Ronaldinhos. So that is it, Ruben, for the CHAN. Then something else, CHAN, Ruben, the CHAN that we must tell Ugandans is that you promised us it's going to be live on Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. Please reiterate that because I can't speak about
exclusive.
that. Talk about it. Cameras on Ruben.
Actually, I want to announce this today that UBC TV will have the games live, but that is at the CHAN game. The 32 games will be live on UBC TV. Okay. So anybody who can't go to Nambole, who can't travel to Tanzania or Kenya, just get your free-to-air decoders in case you can. If you don't have, buy one. Yeah. And of course, it's in HD. On free-to-air, it is in HD. I don't know about other platforms, but on free-to-air, it's going to be in HD, and we shall be live everywhere where the games will be. UBC TV will be live. And John Barnes will be here to analyze the games. Peter Otai will commentate, and so many other team players will be part of the tournament. Barnes, away from the CHAN.
No, before we leave the CHAN, Ruben, the East African nations have got to gather together, as not every one of us, but at least 3.
To come up with a song.
To come up with a theme song. The Tanzanians chose Diamond Platinums.
Yeah. That's the biggest.
The Kenyans, I don't know who they've chosen, but the challenge is for us Ugandans. For example, Ruben, who would you pick?
For me, I'm a Kadonkamu person. Now, if you asked me, the Gen Zs will hate me. Because man, if you ask me, for me, I will tell you that my favorite songs are Kadonkamu songs. So if you ask me to pick an artist, forgive me, Julie, because Julie would go for the Chameleons and the others. Yeah. Me, I might go for Matia Ruima.
But anyways, we're waiting to see who Uganda will choose. But of course,
who would you choose, Barnes, if you're given a chance?
I'm not so big. I'm like you. I come from the old. Yes. I come from the old. I appreciate, but I appreciate the guys that are around. But I come from the old, and I'm not so much a music analyst.
Would go to
Jose Chameleon. Jose Chameleon is really high up there.
How about Juliana?
But now his career, his character. Juliana could also do a good job, but I'm told that Jose Chameleon and some guy I've never heard of him. I'm sorry to say. That's how naive I am. It comes to
local music,
to social life, anyways. There's a guy called Joshua Barak, I think.
Oh yeah,
I hear he has. When I was told of him, I went and Googled because you know Google helps us now. He's so famed in Uganda. Many of these Gen Zs actually know Julies know him so much, and they say he's one of those that is lined up because they say he cuts across. He also cuts across more like Jose Chameleon. But if it wasn't for character, Jose Chameleon is an opposite for this because Jose Chameleon cuts across the region. Jose Chameleon is one of those. No. Jose Chameleon will go to Tanzania and he will be welcomed. Jose Chameleon will go to Kenya, he will be welcomed. First of all, because he speaks that language. That is the most important thing. And he's sung there before. So we don't know who they will choose, but there's a press conference at the media center today. Yeah, true. Maybe they will tell us that. Maybe hopefully tomorrow, when the president launches the Ugandan chapter, they will tell us who they have chosen.
And we shall be live in Colorado tomorrow.
Absolutely.
For the launch of the Ugandan chapter by the president.
So that is it. So you told me to go to table tennis?
John Barnes, before I go to table tennis, I told people, I was actually telling my colleague Michael Sefmaru and Joel on the score on Monday that we have had Chan, under the leadership of Museveni, we have had a lot of things happen.
Yeah.
I mean, from qualifying for AFCON for the first time in 49 years,
39
to hosting Chan and to having Pamoja in 2027. So you need to secure your future. You need to keep the person you have tested before bans. I don't know if you're going to do that, but I would plead to those who are up there that cast your vote and put it where it is productive. Yeah, for me, not be taken up by these Watoros who come up and lie.
For me, there are a couple of things.
Let's go for the trusted and tested.
Absolutely, I'll not say nay to your opinion, but I personally, the three.
What is nay?
I'll not say no.
That's the parliament.
But there are a couple of things I don't actually want to
go into
to decide for anyone. Religion,
politics,
culture, and politics. That's why it's very difficult to hear me shout politics anywhere in the world. Though I may know a lot about Ugandan and global politics, but I don't want to talk about
Never go for the unexperienced,
but
go for the experience.
But if you ask me, the table tennis team, the Ugandan table tennis team, the youth table tennis team of Uganda is in Nigeria, where they arrived a couple of days ago. It's 7 girls and two technical guys. The technical guys are led by Alvin Katumba and Tendo Baliewunya. Tendo Baliewunya is a lady who is on that team as the coach. They start action today. There are 3 tournaments they're going to play at. That was at the flag off of the team at National Council of Sports, done by that lady for senior sports officer, Annette Nancha. The guy on the right of your screen is the president, the new president of the Uganda Table Tennis Association, Cyrus Muwanga. But anyways, talk about the tournaments in Nigeria. They're down there for 3 tournaments. They've got the Hopes Week and Challenge and Week, which is starting today. Then after that, they'll go into the Africa Youth Championships. Then after that, they'll play the Africa Cup. For this one that starts today, it's only 2 of them going to play. If you are an ardent sports follower in Uganda, especially if you love your table tennis, you've heard of that name, Joseph Sebatindira. They baptized him Sir Joseph Sebatindira because he is a world champion. Sebatindira is one of the 2 that is going to play at this. It's for under 12s. It's Sebatindira and the reigning champion at that stage, Patricia Anyango. She won gold in Botswana last time out when Uganda went at this particular Hopes Weekend Challenge tournament. Then after 5 days of this, they will go into the Africa Youth Championships, where the team of Sebatindira and Anyango will be joined by others celebrated and globally acclaimed players: Pavin Nangonzi, Jamaima Nakawala, Nasirumbi Patra, Sharif Msereko, and of course Ibrahim Mutesasira. Those are the lads down there, and they will climax their tour of duty in Nigeria with a tournament at the Africa Cup, which will be a reserve for all of them. But for the Africa Youth Championship, it's going to be for under 15 and under 19, and only 2 of those will not play the Africa Cup. That is Sharif Msereko and Nasirumbi Patra. But all the other 5, Pevin Nangonzi, Jamaima Nakawala, Sharif Msereko, Patience Anyango, and Joseph Sebatindira will be a part of that. We wish them the best. They carry the Ugandan flag, and hopefully they will come shining. Keep it UBC, I think. You will get to know how each and every of these young girls and boys has actually performed. Then, in line with table tennis still, the president of Uganda Table Tennis Association, Cyrus Muwanga, who's just hardly a month into office, has been given a position at the International Table Tennis Federation by the president, Patra Soling. He is on the marketing commission. That shows that Uganda does not only shine on the pitch, but also far and beyond.
Okay, the message here coming in from Felix Manyindo says that I'm watching the show, Ruben, and I love the knowledge of John Barnes. He seems to be knowledgeable and so much into sport. I wish he could join us at the Nation Media. Okay. Felix Manyindo. John Barnes is not for sale. He's not for sale. You have gone so many here. This time we won't grab anybody. We are careful now. The days are done now. Where they will come in and bully us.
The blank checks are at the gate.
Anyone? They won't grab you Barnes from here. No. We can't allow that. Anyway, but John Barnes, we had the women's game. But okay, of course, we had the AFCON where Morocco seemed to be getting into better things.
Yeah.
And of course, we had the side of Euro, where Spain will take on England in the final. So let's start with African women football.
The African women football, Nigeria beating up on South Africa. It was an intense game. The Nigerians are taking a lead, equalized South Africa, the Banyana, but late in that game, the Nigerians score the clincher, and they are into, I think, I don't know how many finals they have been at, but they've won this 10 times. So they've been at many of these finals. They've been through situations like that before, and of course, this is a revenge for losing in the group and losing the championship to South Africa that won it last time out. Then the second semi-final was Morocco at home against Ghana. That one went to penalties. Yes. Finished 1-1, Ghana taking the lead, and then the Moroccans equalizing. It wasn't the best of goals that you would wish the Moroccans to score for all the flair that they are known to have. But Ruben, there's something I realized from Africa and Europe women's football. Whatever most of these women's team play is replicated by, whatever the senior men's team plays is replicated by these women. Morocco has that flair, tika-taka, 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 tika-taka. Even the Ghanaians were playing some quality football. Nigeria and South Africa, they play similarly, and there are lessons that Uganda needs to pick. That means if we have the technical master plan at the Federation of Uganda Football Associations, it's got to get us that culture of football where a Ugandan team goes out there at under 16 level, at under 17 level, at under 20 level, 23 and whatever. But the football you see played by the 17s is similar to what is played by the Rubens and the Ratoros of this world. Same thing I realized.
Where has Ratoro played football? Why are you insulting me? John Barnes. Ratoro has never played football. Even at St. Louis Chiagobe, I'm told he used to sleep in the dormitory.
He was a bookworm.
He was just somebody who was reading books, but not doing any activity.
So the Euros, of course, are the most exciting, Ruben. And for Morocco, it's very good for Morocco to be in the finals because I personally, whenever a tournament starts, I like the home team to keep lasting in that tournament as much as possible.
Because of the fan base.
Because of the fan base.
True.
I was imagining a final Ghana and Nigeria. Big in terms of the nations. But there will be no fans. And the fans create that ambience, especially for us that follow the sport religiously. 90 minutes without the fans, seeing the fans in the stands is not something that you can wish for. Now, going to the Euros, it was a great game of football. Italy had put on a show up to the 97th minute when they lost their 1-0 advantage to a great goal by that girl, Michelle
the teenager.
Yeah,
is he Nigerian or is he English? Which roots? Where does he come
You're becoming racist.
Anyway,
she's English.
She's English.
Yes.
Okay.
She plays for England.
Anyway,
Michelle Ajemang scoring in the 97th minute. Surely England has learned to have another life in this championship. They lost the first game against France. They came back, beat the Netherlands. They beat Wales. They beat Sweden. Here they are beating Italy. They have no right. They had no right to beat Sweden because they were 2-0 down, 79th minute.
Yes.
They had no right beating Italy. They were 1-0 down, 96. It was only 1 minute on the board left. And they equalized. They come into extra time. And then they score. Chloe Kelly scores for the penalty spot. Chloe Kelly is a good, very, very wonderful player. She is at Arsenal. The reigning European champions, Women Champions League. And you think that England going into the final, yes, it's against Spain that beat up on Germany yesterday. A very, very tactical game. Spain, not at its best. Of course, Spain are the reigning world champions. They beat England in New Zealand and Australia for the World Cup title. But they have not played quality football right from that game against Switzerland and even yesterday against the Germans. The Germans, of course, still, like I've told you, what the senior men's team does, even the women do, Ruben. I saw free kicks, set-piece execution that reminded me of the old German days of
the Thomas Hasslers.
Thomas Hasslers of this world.
Andreas Moller.
Yes, the Mario Baslers. They almost scored from a set-piece. And they almost scored still from one of those moments that they create in games. Of course, the Spanish were fancy, reigning champions, and they are Spain. They play the tiki-taka football, but the Germans stuck in there and almost won it late. And you'll feel for the Germans because they missed around 4 players through suspension and injury. But they put on a great show. The final for the Euros is on Sunday, and that will be a good game, I'm very certain.
And
but
Saturday
is the women's final.
And you shall have it
will
live.
be on Uganda Broadcasting Corporation TV. So there's no reason for you to leave it from today onwards.
You have got to be watching till September.
Till forever, yeah.
Till forever. Because we have AFCON coming in December.
Yes, there's AFCON in Morocco coming in September. Sorry, in December.
In December, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Buns, unless otherwise we've got to go. That's it from sport. Buns, anything else?
No, thanks for the tea. I'm enjoying it. You've saved me.
John Buns,
you've saved me some bucks.
You love coffee. Michael Sefma calls it coffee. Is it coffee or coffee?
Michael Sefma is still young.
Hey, it says that it's coffee. Yeah, I told him that we call it coffee. It is coffee.
That play at Arsenal, the Brazilian, for me is Gabriel Jesus.
Not Jesus. Okay, bye for now. We're out of here. Good day.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Hello, hamjambo. My name is Twea. Welcome to Swahili with Twea. Let's look at basic greetings in Swahili. Salamu za msingi kwa Kiswahili. Habari. Habari. Hello. Habari gani? Habari gani? How are you? Habari gani rafiki? How are you friend? Ni nzuri rafiki yangu. Ni nzuri rafiki